Hey everyone, Christine I see here, and welcome back. Thank you for being here and thank you for subscribing and all the good things. Longest video I've ever made, and Matt goes through kind of a history of what we started out with and what we are today. And this kind of sets up why we built the van the way we did. I hope you stick around because he goes through the whole setup for racing weekend, and at the end there's a time lapse of setting up at the track. He pulls the awning out, there was a gust of wind, and the awning automatically goes in. So you can see that happen as well. So let me know if you stuck all the way to the end. I'd love to hear your comments. I hope you do enjoy this. This is a big part of our lives. It has been for the last 25 years, and he'll continue to do this, and that's what drives our vision behind our van build and a lot of the other things. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Christine's channel. Today we're talking about the van, and we're actually loading it, getting ready to go to the racetrack. You know, the last video was about being at the track and some of the things that we've built in the van that's helped it be a dual purpose vehicle for us. And this is the part of the dual purpose. When we started racing years ago, we actually started with just the car. It was actually a street car. It was doing track autocross, so it was a street car, and we would load the back of the street car up with a couple tents, a big tote with tools, another tote with camping supplies, and then we would drive Christine's car. We would go to the track, set tents up, we would camp, and it was a good time. Now, it's also not the best way to be at the track if the weather isn't nice. If it's raining, if it's storming, if it's cold, you know, the tents are not quite the best way to be there, especially if you're not the one racing. If you're the one just hanging out all day, for the kids just to be there, it wasn't, you know, the most comfortable all the time. Again, they have a good time because you're camping, you get to be at the track, but again, sometimes it's tough to sleep because it's storming or whatever else. So as we moved along racing wise, I ended up then, and this is how we built up to where we are today. A lot of people talk about, you know, boy, that's a nice trailer, boy, that's a lot of nice equipment, boy, it's nice to have the van, so forth. Well, we built up to that. You know, we started this 25 years ago and slowly moved up like a lot of people do. We started again with tents and a small little toolbox. And from there, we then went to a open trailer and a truck. And we were able to all go together at the track and bring more things with us, you know. And then from the open trailer, I took that open trailer, bought the least expensive one that I could get, probably the most we could afford, but it was still an inexpensive trailer. I replaced all the deck boards on it, repainted it, fixed the brakes, packed the wheel bearings, did a lot of things to it to make it nicer, painted it, put boxes on the front, and made it worth quite a bit more. Sold that, bought a nicer one, bought a tilt bed, and then again, took that, rebuilt it, made it nicer. Sold that, bought our first enclosed trailer, which needed a ton of work. Again, added cabinets to it, cleaned it all up, waxed it all, made it nice, replaced all the side screws that had all rusted, and, you know, again, just all these things to make it much nicer. Added a generator. I was able to then make that worth a lot more, sold that, bought the red trailer that we had for years. And again, we just kept doing that over and over till we get to the point where we are now. We did the same thing on the vehicles. You know, I started with just driving the car there, but then we got a truck. Actually, we got a Tahoe. And took the Tahoe, upgraded that to get to a nicer truck, and then we got to a 2500 truck, and then we got to a one-ton dually, you know, just making it nicer and easier to be there and easier to get around every time. Then we went to our first motorhome. Christine still has PTSD over this thing, just nightmares, because it was a home built. So it was somebody took a GMC top kick, cut the back off, and then extended the frame and put a box on it and built a motorhome out of it. And, you know, it was rough. It was rough, and it had a lot of breakdowns, a lot of problems, but that's why I could afford it at the time. We took that thing and completely redid it. We sealed the roof, we recoated it, you know, we replaced the air conditioner, we replaced the floors, we replaced all of the couches, you know, anything on the inside. We rebuilt and replaced all. We redesigned the interior of it, the layout of it, redid the bathroom, you know, so forth, and made it much nicer again. So then once we made that nicer, we were able to sell that. We bought the pusher, and we used the pusher for a long time. And when we bought the pusher, it was in rough shape also. It was a rental. It had been completely trashed. The floors were bad, all of the furniture was bad. It had a fire on the front. It was a small fire, but it was an electrical fire. Someone had overloaded one of the outlets, and it had fire behind the TV. So none of the TV worked, the satellite didn't work. Actually, the satellite didn't work because someone went under something low and ripped the satellite off the front of the motorhome. So, and again, there were just a number of issues, but I could afford it that way. And so once I did that, we took that, and again, resealed the roof. We changed all the electrical up front and refixed all that, got rid of all the fire damage, rebuilt some of the cabinets, replaced all the flooring, all the furniture, and did all those things and made it much nicer, which allowed us to sell that and afford to buy the van here. That's how we ended up affording to buy a brand new Transit or order it, was because we were able to, get money or invest time and make something worth more to sell it for more. And now we're converting the van. But because of all that, we sold the motorhome, so I don't have a way to be at the track anymore. I still want to be there. I'm not racing for championships like I did before. I'm just racing, a few races a year, just enjoying it, having some fun. Again, that we kind of build up to that point. But the reality is that we need to have then dual purpose out of this. I still need to be able to go to the track, and I still want to be able to be there and be there comfortably and get everything there that we need to be there and have a place then, to sleep, obviously, cook food, wash up, all those things. I talked about that a little bit in the last video, some of the things that we've done to the van that we've realized now as we've started using it at the track, how much it's worked out well, how it's worked out the way we want. Some of the things that we do in the van, not only just for travel across country and the things most people use the van for, but also for us to go to the racetrack, to tow the trailer, to be there, try to be there in comfort, and so forth. Now, last time we talked about a lot of the things that we've improved in the van and how it has some dual purpose, some of the things we've just done that we've realized how much we like it, how well they've worked, and those type of things, just being at the track, helping someone. This is a little different. This weekend I'm actually going to the track racing, so we're hooking up the trailer now. I'm going to go over then some of the things I do to hook the trailer up. So in case you want to tow with your van, see if any of this helps you out at all. And we're going to actually hook the trailer up, take it down to the house. We got to load the car. I'm going to go over a little bit on some of the things that we do to make racing possible for us. Just because, a lot of people have interest in racing and think, hey, that would be nice. And racing's wonderful. Realize just the time it takes to do it. That's the big thing. It is a huge time commitment to put all this together and get it all ready to go to the track and be there and have a successful weekend. So hope this helps you out a little bit if you're looking to tow, and enjoy. Got the hitch out here. The hitch that we use is an Alumintow. It's an aluminum adjustable hitch, so you can have multiple different balls to tow different things, multiple different heights, again, to tow different things. We tow the trailer, but also the boat. I have an open trailer that we use, so it needs different heights and sometimes different balls depending on what we're using. Today we're towing the big trailer, so we're gonna get it set up. Big trailer takes a 2 5/16 ball. What I do with this, and I'm not sure if you're supposed to or not, but once you put this upper cotter pin in, I turn it and it actually happens to fit right to where you can take the lockable one and put it through that cotter pin and actually get it to go all the way through. I don't know if it was designed that way or not, but that's what I do with it, and that way this upper pin is locked also, so they're both locked into place. Now I did cut this off. This actually does have a little more adjustment to it normally, but if I don't do that, I can't get the doors open and closed with the hitch this way. So I cut that off so that way we can get the doors open and closed. But that's it. Now the hitch is on. We're going to hook up to the trailer and pull out. too far. That last little roll might have been too far again. No, perfect. You see how we've got the scooter here, and then the pit cart, got some canopies there, obviously race wheels, rain wheels, our little toolbox is here. There's another bigger canopy on the back that we use to cover up the car. The two small canopies we use more for when we sit under there. So now we've got this loaded, we'll take it down and get the car loaded here. All right, now that we're back down at the house, I'm going to start loading up the trailer. I've got some things in there from last weekend that we need to get out and wash, and then just get everything back and ready. Like I said, where'd to go? Yeah, these guys need to all be washed off and put back away, so I'm going to take care of that. I have some of the electrical cords out. We've got to put all those things away, and just kind of keep getting ready. Then I'm going to load the van for this weekend. We need to load food, make sure we have enough water, change of clothes, all the race gear, have a big checklist for that. We'll go over that when we get in the shop. One of the other reasons we like the rear shower is, again, we have easy access here. Part of the thing was that we could put things that were dirty in something that we could clean up easily, and that's the shower pan here. Now I'm just going to wash the shower pan out and clean this up a little bit, but it gives us a place to put things that we come in dirty after we've been hiking. In this case, the leveling blocks that we used underneath the van were dirty when I put them in there. We'll always be able to wash them off with the shower here. Even if I wanted to, we could rinse that off if I had to and then put them away. But since we were coming home, we'd rinse them off here. But it gives us easy access to bring and put dirty things in. I'm going to put actually a bar up here so we can hang Christine's tail so it has a way to drip dry once we get out of the water. It gives her a chance to let that hang instead of having to put it away wet. All right, hopefully the lighting's okay. It's kind of bright outside. I've got the door open, but we're in the shop now, the race shop. This is down at the house. This is the extra garage we converted into a race shop. This is where we spend all the time with the car. Normally, the car, we've done a lot of video up there in the shop, in the fabrication shop, and where we do all the work on the van, things like that. The fabrication shop is more for dirty things. We try to do our cutting and fabricating there. That way the things down here don't get covered with dirt as much as what happens up there. But we do have some fabrication tools, could do a few small things here, but we try to do most of it up there. Now, we're preparing the car. I've spent the past, few nights getting the car ready. That takes quite a bit of time. We actually estimate it's about 10 to 1. So about 10 hours of prep time for every hour racing, and that's if everything's simple and straightforward. If there's any crash damage, if there's things you have to change, if there's a lot of setting changes, that could be up as high as 20 or more hours of prep to 1 hour of racing. It takes me about 3 or 4 hours to prep the car, and then about an hour or two to do an alignment if we have to do that, fluids, so forth, hour or so to load it. So again, about 10 to 1. Let me show you around a little bit what we do, getting the car ready to go. Now, before every event, the car gets brought in here, and we do a number of things. We keep the scale platforms here, so if we have to do the setup on the car, we put it in. Well, actually, every time we get it off the track, it comes up on the scales first, and then we do a set down. So we look at the settings and see where they're at, look at the corner cross weights, so forth, see if anything's changed at the track. That'll let us know how much we need to do, whether we need to change things more or not. If there are setting changes to be done, then we do those. But before every race, also then we mechanically get the car ready. And I have a checklist here. I go through this checklist. We write down all the things that we do to the car so we can keep track of when stuff was done, what was done. Every time before we go out, everything gets looked over. The brakes get looked over, the pads get looked over, we crack bleed them, and once a year at least we do a full bleed, but between events, if the brakes are doing well, we just crack bleed them, get a little air out if there is any, and that helps change the fluid over time. Look at the rotors, look at the pads, make sure everything's okay. All the suspension parts, every jam nut gets a wrench on it to make sure it's tight. All the suspension nuts and bolts get a wrench on them to make sure they're tight. They do loosen some over time, and every once in a while you have to tighten them. You try to keep track of what you've tightened, so that way if it keeps loosening, then that means you need to replace it. We look over the shocks, make sure nothing's leaking, look over the entire car. Obviously, the chain gets retightened. This case, we had to change the sprockets because we're changing the gearing a little bit. And then again, look for any types of leak, change the oil if we need to, oil filter, there's a fuel filter there, we'll change it occasionally, clean the air cleaner. Obviously, again, look the entire car over. Look at all the body mounts, look at all the wing mounts, make sure everything's tight, make sure nothing's cracked or broken. This time we did mount some wheels. These are takeoffs that we got from Ryan, and we're going to use for this weekend. Obviously, then had to end up putting new balancing on it. And then we've got to mark all that and tape all those up so they're the weights, we know where they are. If they ever come off, we know exactly how much to put back on and where to put them on. And then getting ready to put the car back together, and we'll get it loaded in the trailer. All right, the next step in the process, load the car. Getting ready to do that, so we're going to get out of the shop into the trailer. All right, here we go. Okay, now the last thing we do then is go through the checklist to make sure everything's here. So I go through the checklist from all the safety equipment that I need to bring with me, all the tools that I'd like to have, all the stuff for the car itself, and then all our kind of personal items, clothes, this and that. Go through and lay eyes on all of it, make sure it's all here. Go through the gear checklist here. Suit, Omex underwear, hybrid, tape, and then we look at the helmet, Make sure the earplugs are in there where they should be. Some of this is harder to do one-handed than I would think. So helmet, the earplug should be inside of him. And earplugs, yes. Earplugs. Absolutely, both those are there. Back in the helmet bag. Helmet back in the bag. Alright, see if this is a little better here. So, we'll put everything back in the gear bag. I've got some spares in there, spare pair of gloves, so forth, in case anything ever gets ripped or wrecked while we're running. And now, gloves, arm restraints. Quick peek, make sure there's nothing obvious rips or things like that. Balaclava, anti-fog, and socks, 2 pairs. So everything's in there the way we need it to be. Now we're gonna go through the checklist, make sure we've marked off that it's all here. Now I'm gonna go out to the trailer and go through the tools checklist, look through the toolboxes. Sometimes things get moved in and out of there or not in there, especially things that we use inside the shop and out, the impact, so forth. So I just want to make sure it's all in there. We'll do that now. All right, now we just look through all the drawers in the toolbox, just get an idea of what's in here, look at all of it, and then we'll go through the checklist, see if we put eyes on everything that's important to be in here. Okay. Torque wrench down there, yes. Impact tire gauge, all in this container. Keep these separate because these are what we would take up to the pit lane, so we just grab a bag to take up there. Work gloves. Some of this stuff is in the door. Brake bleed kit is, nitrogen's on the pit cart. Nuts and bolts, pyrometers in there, tape, tie downs. I have a tarp, awnings here, battery chargers in there, scanner, radio, headset, jump boxes. I have oil, I have a filter, brake fluid, penetrant funnel, extra brake shoes, rotors. I don't have any glass cleaner in here. I've got degreaser, paper towels, fuel, blocks, jack, car cover. I gotta go get the car cover out. Spare tires. I have food in there. I have water. The rain gear's in there. Umbrellas in there. First aid kit. I have extra money. My license. Notebook is right here. Computer's in there. Data. Pillows, blankets, towels. Oh, gotta get towels actually. I checked that off and now they're not in there. I gotta make sure I load the towels. Got my change of clothes. I got a hat. Contacts. Chairs are in there. Extension cords in there. And cleaner and generator. So I've got to go get the car cover and towels. And that's it. Checklist complete. Alright, we made it up to the track. Sorry it's a little noisy. There are cars on track. There's enduro going on now. So made it here. You can see van and trailer. Made it up here just fine. We have about another hour and a half before we're able to actually get on track. So sit in the van, turn on the air conditioning, and wait for the enduro to finish. Again, what a way to be at the track. Hang out, listen to the enduro. Watching a little YouTube. Nice breeze, just hanging out, relaxing. All right, made it inside the track now. I'm gonna start setting up outside of 4 here. And toes real nice, towed up nice.